or so. Do you want to introduce and tell us a little bit about it?
Okay. Okay, the ones I'm going to read now, not what I read. Kelly?
Yeah, go ahead.
The ones. The first poem, You There, is written, as you will gather, about somebody that I was very intimate with a long time ago. He's gone out of my life and maybe out of life at this point, but the memory isn't gone. It's called You There. At low tide, the stones just sharp enough to hurt my feet if I walk too fast, not big enough to do damage, pebbles really, but enough rough edges to make me think first before placing my foot. A small irritation, enough to disturb my sleep, like the princess who felt the pea under 20 mattresses. Or was it 40? Like the sound of your voice, its memory grown fainter these many years, gravelly with desire, saying my name. The next poem is Lament. This is sort of an anticipatory poem. An old house is hard to heat, has windows that don't fit since the foundation settled, like old body parts that sag. Outside air slips in, restless, wanders, makes everything it touches chill, even the wooden toilet seat. Porcelain sides of the clawfoot tub discourage hot baths. Sun without warmth pours into the kitchen, its usual brightness a mockery. Fearful of freezing, pipes groan with effort. An old person alone in a house that is old is cold. Thank you.
So I think the next thing I'm going to do is share this new video that I just put together. It's from a reading by Robert Moss. Tim, you may recognize this. It's a piece that I just created on the with my new video editing techniques. So let me get that ready to screen share with you.
Have you ever noticed how much time you spend inside yourself, inside your mind, talking to yourself about you, talking to yourself about what you should have done, should do, but also talking to other people, imagining a conversation that you want to have with that person, the conversation that's going to finally help you explain to someone else what's so important to you, what you would like them to understand about you. Or maybe it's a conversation about asking for forgiveness, about how you've learned to see through different eyes and you can recognize where the other person is, and you want them to know how you have had this change of heart. But the fascinating thing, the really fascinating thing is that when you finally sit down in front of any of those people, the conversation will never unfold that way. Because the person you imagine inside of yourself is your own creation. The person you're talking to isn't your daughter or your son or your husband or your wife or your lover or your girlfriend, boyfriend, someone at work, your employer, it isn't ever that person. That person in your head is your own construct. It's an imaginary world. And in so doing, actually not being present in our bodies, to our real feelings, to our actual sensations, to what's really happening right now, to what we see, what we hear, the world itself. The vast majority of the time, we're just simply churning story after story after story, conversation after conversation after conversation with people that we think are real, but are really just creations in our own mind. So if you can see this, just simply say, oh, I'm in an imaginary conversation. And in that second, let it go. Feel what happens in that second, in that moment in which there's been so much identification, so much of thinking invested in that imaginary conversation. And then your aware ego looks and sees, look at what I'm doing. I'm having an imaginary conversation. And in that split second, it drops. And you're in a moment, and usually it's only a moment before some other form of thinking comes in. For example, the narrator will come in and say, oh, look, I woke up to the fact that I was in an imaginary conversation and I stopped it. And so the narrator starts telling you, the commentator starts telling you what you did and how well you did it. And between the narrator, commentator, and this process of repeated conversations with people in our heads, I think for most of us, that's probably 90% of the ways in which we simply avoid being alive, awake, present, here and now. And so by pointing this out, I'm inviting you to trust that when it comes time to have a real conversation with someone, because you've stopped these imaginary conversations over and over again, you'll be in a better position to actually speak from your heart, and you'll be in a better position to hear this person when they speak to you. Because if you've dwelled so long on who they are and how they haven't been or how they should be and what you should say and what you shouldn't say, then you've constructed them in such a way that when they're actually in front of you, you won't see them and you really won't hear them. You'll filter them and you'll filter what they say. You'll reinterpret what they say so quickly that the conversation is, in a sense, doomed to ever having real intimacy, real connectedness, and thinking that when a real conversation is happening, it will unfold. I'll be available to myself, to my feeling, to my heart. My body wisdom and my heart wisdom will be there, informing my words, and I'll be able to hear the other, see the other, sense the other, understand more of where he or she is coming from. So wake yourself up out of these imaginary conversations and all the commenting you make and narrating you make about these imaginary conversations. And take a taste again and again and again and again of clear-mindedness. Let's have people be real and not just imaginary constructs.
Very interesting.
So that was this cut. Tim, do you remember hearing this in the piece we saw a year or so ago? Does it ring a bell?
Like he needs to unmute himself.
Yeah, he's
Unmute, unmute.
Yes, I do. But yeah, I don't remember it entirely, but I like it.
Yeah.
It had a familiarity to me.
Yeah, I love that piece. I had to shorten it from 8 minutes to 5 minutes, so I had to cut some things out. But
Who is
yeah,
it?
it's cool. Richard Moss.
Who is it?
Richard Moss.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody I'm familiar with.
Either.
So Kelly, how long does it take you to do all the editing with that new software? I mean, it's cool, all the different things that you've incorporated.
You know, it's funny because it's stuff I've had on my computer for years and I just never knew about it. And what happened was accidentally one day I was just doing the basics, you know, start and stop a video, and I accidentally hit something and noticed something happened, and then I realized I had all this editing capability. So then I started fooling around with it, and it probably takes editing the sound from 8 minutes, because I had to take out the gaps between his speaking. There were a lot more silent pauses, which would have been good for the dancing, but it made the piece so long. So just editing those out probably took half an hour, and then doing all the different, finding the different pieces within a longer video, and then organizing them, and then adding the effects probably took another 2 or 3 hours.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's quite a long process, but it's fun. You get involved in it and you kind of lose all track of time, which is probably, I wouldn't intentionally spend 3 hours on it, but it ends up being that. So yeah, and then posting it and everything. And I put that up on my YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
if you want to go to the YouTube channel and check it out. And I don't know, have you guys all subscribed to our YouTube channel? We're live streaming right now. So have you checked that out yet? I think most of you probably have subscribed by now, right?
My organization administrator will not let me do it. I have no idea who this person or office is.
It has to do with your Gmail being connected to your Brandeis email, Karen. We'll straighten that out at some point when we
Okay,
get a chance.
because
Yeah.
I tried to get live stream from Vimeo and the same thing happened.
Yeah, this whole technology thing it can be a stumbling block, but the good news is that I have a lot of free time now to figure it out. So
I need you.
it's really all about like time and effort spent, and then the rewards are, you know, on the other end, like with the video editing, spending the time on it, it really, you
Yes.
know, is worth it in the end, but it is just a huge investment of time. So,
I think you're very
but yeah,
smart,
we'll go over
very
it.
smart to edit your solo, because I saw a bunch of performances last night where people were all virtual performing, and it was not interesting except the ones who actually used video edit to make the
Well, that's the medium
video,
we're in.
use of the video rather than just pretending that you're on a proscenium stage and taking a picture of it. Who
Well,
really
that's the thing,
neat.
Karen, if I can get a word in, that's the thing, is like, that's the medium we're in. We're in a video medium right now.
Right.
And with that in mind, I'm going to screen share the next piece, which, because somebody rang my doorbell, so I'm going to put you guys on the screen share, and so I can go answer the door because they brought food. So, but the next person, Annabelle Lenzo, she's, I think, a ballet choreographer, and that's about all that I know about her right now, but she made this amazing dance film, which is about 5 minutes long. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share that with you right now. I just went ahead and muted everybody. Let me stop my video. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and
I can't do this.
share. I got to find her page first. All right, so let me get that going. All right, back to the Zoom. All right, screen share. Share.
Okay.
So that was our Brooklyn-based artist, who is Annabelle Lenzu. I know she's in Williamsburg, and a little bit about, it was called Out of the Folds of Women, telling a personal vision of femininity and what it means to be a woman, mother, and immigrant today. So I'm gonna go ahead and screen share our next Brooklyn artist while I'm here, Lucia, who's been showing work in the Speakeasy pretty regularly. This is called the Candle Dance. And I'm just gonna jump right into it. So that was Lucia Travaglino.
That was really cool. I like that. Really
Yeah, that was,
creative.
she called it
Fire.
Candle Dance. And they're both in New York City. So that was our New York component of the Speakeasy tonight. So I think I'll hand it over to you now, Vicki.
Okay.
I think what I have to do is you'll screen share and I'll grant permission to screen share.
Yep.
So go ahead and I'll see if I can figure out how to do that. You might have to prompt me.
It looks like I'm there. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, good. I can see it.
Great. You see a red house?
Yes.
Okay.
I see James's house. Do you want to come see Vicki's video?
James's house. James lets us
James
live
is over
here.
here.
Oh, James is over there?
Yeah.
Hi, James.
Hey, Vicki. I'm bringing food.
He's bringing food.
So this is a series from, remember when we had those like 3 to 4 inches of snow the day before Halloween in October? And it was so beautiful. It was an early snow, and it was really fat flakes, and it was really beautiful because we knew the next day would be like 60 degrees, so we wouldn't have to shovel it. So I went out and did some photography to enjoy it. So here's our house over here on Washington Terrace. And then I went over to the Powder House Park in Davis Square between Davis and Tufts. So the next few are from that area. And I just happened to catch that little kid running by, and he had the funniest expression. And I just love the kind of surreal effect that somehow just kind of came across in this one.
I need to see your house, James.
I saw it.
And the snow is really sticking to the sides of the trees so nicely. It made such a neat reverse shadow.
Cool.
Wow.
I got some of these little shots of color from the girls in their snow outfits. kind of playing in that little house underneath the tree. This was just an abstract with all, it was amazing how much snow built up on all of the limbs so quickly. It was so deep and sticky, it just stayed on them. These are over by the Mystic River in Arlington along the Mystic River Boulevard. And because, you know, the leaves hadn't fallen, there was so many bright colored leaves underneath all of the snow. I think this one just kind of captured it. I think I'll end on that one because that's the one that really captures the outing the best.
Cool.
So anyway, that's my little snow adventure with photography.
Cool. Go ahead and end your share. There we go. Well, you are officially the first photographer to present your work at the Speakeasy. Yay.
Oh, well, thank you.
So I was doing a round of applause. So I just wanted to remind everybody really quick to please go ahead and donate. I'm going to go ahead and put those links in the chat. I realized that I can't go into my email while I'm screen sharing. So I kept trying to do that while things were playing, and it was like, oh yeah, I can't do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. Meanwhile, you know, if anybody wants to tell Vicki anything about what they saw, please, you know, go ahead and share your thoughts.
Is Vicki the photographer?
Yes.
Yep, those were absolutely gorgeous. I appreciated the beauty of them, and thank you for bringing a sense of peacefulness.
Yay.
Thank you, and
Yeah.
you're welcome. Yeah, it really, that's the way the day felt too, or the afternoon, just so peaceful in the middle of all this chaos and nonsense. So I'm glad that I could share that with you too.
I think it's very nice that you scheduled the snowstorm to be early enough that the leaves were still on the tree, because otherwise, it, you know, might, you know, I think they really, you know, so I think that's, I don't know how you got that design, but you know, it was great. So.
Sometimes Mother Nature does grant us our wishes.
Well, it was a very good job.
Beautiful. So
Cool. Nancy, you'll have to unmute yourself if you want to tell us something.
I'm unmuted. What I wanted to say was, on your red house, I am so envious of your two beautiful porches, first floor and second floor. I think they're just the most beautiful things.
Yeah, we really appreciate the porches in the summertime. It's just so nice to get out there with that breeze. And when I see people with the multifamily houses like that have boxed in their porches, it's just such a shame, because I'm like, oh, those are so nice to have in the summertime.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
What direction does it face?
Yeah, James says it was great on Halloween.
Yeah, James lives on the first floor.
Oh.
Yeah, I found her ad that she put in Nextdoor, which is a really great app, especially during these times. You can hear what all your neighbors and your kind of nearby neighbors, you can hear what everybody's talking about. I get a lot of my news that way. People are giving away stuff. If you want to clean out your closet, you know, you can advertise things. I found they had put an apartment listing up on Nextdoor, and I always peruse it. And I just said, James, this place sounds perfect for you. Let's go take a look at it. And we went there right before that last show we did at the Armory. And
that's right. It was that same
came over
night.
that night, and it was right before everything shut down. So it was perfect, because otherwise we wouldn't have really been able to look for anything for him. And he was stuck with roommates that, you know, it just wasn't ideal. So it was too crowded for him. So now he has this big, beautiful place, which you guys did an amazing job fixing it up. It's just so lovely.
Oh, thanks.
Lovely,
yeah,
lovely
we had some renovations done. Tried to do some renovations during COVID-19. That was our COVID-19 adventure.
Yeah, wow. That was like, and it took probably about 2 months just to be able to have construction people start again. So that was, you know,
yeah. It was sitting there empty. But
it was lucky that
we
he
made
could
it
stay
through
with me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep. So
So I just got on Flickr, and I have these pictures posted on Flickr. So I'll send that in the chat in case anybody wants to look at them again for some
Awesome.
peace.
Awesome. And I just put the donation information. So if you are able to donate, we've got PayPal and Venmo links up there. So we thank you so much for helping keeping this going. And I think we've got one more dance to present, I think. Oh, maybe that's it. Did I forget someone? Lucia, myself. Yeah, that's it. It's a short night tonight because one of our poets had to cancel. And yeah, I think that's all. I think that's all we have for the night. I'm going to go ahead and post my YouTube channel up here. So if you haven't subscribed, what we're trying to do is build the channel so that when we start rehearsals again, we'll be able to pay the dancers by monetizing the channel, which is really kind of hard to do. So I know it's sort of a dream, but at the same time, it's great if people can subscribe because we need 1,000 subscribers by sometime next year in order to make that happen. And we've managed to go from about 72 to 121. So we have built some subscribers and we're still trying to. So if you haven't subscribed, please go in and just hit the subscribe button. You won't get notifications when we post unless you hit the notification bell. So you won't be having to deal with that very much. So please go ahead and when you're looking at a video on my channel, now I've set it up so there's a little corner icon and all you have to do is put your cursor over it and this is subscribe button pops up. So that makes it much, much easier. Karin, if you want, I'll help you figure it out on the Zoom afterwards. So that's about all we have for tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. Hang out if you want to unmute yourselves and hang out for a little while afterwards. You know, we'll be here. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop the live stream though, because that, you know, it's just going to be us hanging out.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight, you guys.
Yeah.
So having never been to a live speakeasy, we've only attended these by Zoom. Have all the rest of you been to a live show? And is it?
Wow.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about that.
Well,
Yeah.
they're always live.
I mean, but in person, I guess.
This just basically what I'm doing now is there's a feature on the Zoom that I discovered sometime over the summer where you can live stream it as it's happening so that if people wanted the option of watching it on YouTube and not having to log into the Zoom, they can just go to my channel. So that's why I keep saying subscribe, because I'm hoping somebody's listening to the channel right now and they'll hit subscribe.
I see.
But so it's hold on just a sec. But it's bye.
Bye.
But anyway, so what it does is it saves me the trouble of having to edit a video and post it later. It's just automatically up there and I just have to figure out now how to shut it off, but which sometimes takes a little bit of time.
So I wanted to tell Vicki that I have been to the live ones and it's different because it's more lively. Because some people are there and moving around and there's live music and the dancing is live, the poetry is live. And it has a different feeling. This is more sedate and more like a program that you would go and watch, whereas when it's in Kelly's studio with a lot of people, it's like a party. So
yeah, it is really a party.
Different environment, and there's food and bring your own beer or wine and whatever. And so there's a lot more laughter and joking and interrelation. There's an intermission where you can kind of socialize and meet the people who are there. It's more like an evening out. And this is sort of, well, it's like going to a concert hall, except you can relate a little bit to the audience, but not like a live speakeasy. I hope the speakeasy will keep going when COVID lets go of us and we can go back into small group interactions.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking about like the comparing, things that used to happen live and in person prior to COVID and now with Zoom. And it seems like some of some of the disadvantages are the things that you said. It's not as interactive. There's not that human touch. Some of the advantages are that we get to pull in people from all over the country and all over the world. So that's
right.
kind of cool. So hopefully when we're beyond this hump, we can figure out how to maintain some of the inclusivity and bringing in friends from other places when we go back to our in-person events too.
So